The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
In a crowded courtroom filled with tension, we find Diddy, surrounded by a staggering number of victims, 25 minors among 120 in total, with the latest being a heartbreaking case involving a 10-year-old boy. Diddy sits there, utterly convinced of his innocence, while his lawyers insist he's ready to share his side of the story. This isn't just about clearing his name. He claims it's about standing up for everyone who's ever been targeted by the government. Well, just moments ago, a lawyer leaked arrest warrants tied to other Hollywood stars connected to Diddy. Will these shocking revelations unravel everything Diddy has built, or is there more to this unfolding drama than meets the eye? Are we witnessing the potential collapse of a celebrity circle? Join us as we delve into the details of the case and uncover the implications of these recent developments. Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, is really fired up, throwing around phrases like the possibility of life in federal prison. It's clear he's going for a full shock and awe tactic. Diddy seems eager to share every little detail of his story. Agnifilo is framing the trial like it's going to be an Oscar-worthy spectacle, complete with tears, confessions, and maybe even a dance number. Who knows? One thing's for sure, things are about to get messy. As for one of the plaintiffs, she plays no part in the criminal case. She's just brought a civil suit against Diddy. One of her former bandmates stated, "I was in the same band as her, and I didn't see any of the things she's complaining about in her statement." So, while she's come forward to make her claims, she's not a witness for the government or anyone else. So here's the situation. Diddy is in serious trouble, and it's not just the same old issues we've heard about before. We're talking about a scandal that could potentially ruin careers and expose the dark side of Hollywood. New details are coming to light that might take down some of the biggest names in the industry with him. If you're a fan of celebrity drama, buckle up because this isn't just a passing headline. It's a meltdown that could shake the entire industry. There are claims that he allowed things to happen without saying a word, didn't intervene, and may have even profited from it. All of these individuals and entities. Now let's talk about Tony Busby, one of the lawyers involved in this case. He's no stranger to the limelight and has been quite straightforward in his comments. He's hinted that this isn't just about bringing one person down. Busby seems to suggest that hotels, banks, and other organizations might also be implicated. And if those major players are involved, we have no idea just how deep this could go. This whole situation could turn into more than just a celebrity trial. It might also escalate into a corporate showdown. There's even talk that the feds have a recording of a celebrity who's bigger than P. Diddy. Now, civil suits are one thing, but when the feds are involved, they have to have something serious to back it up. And that's definitely a criminal matter. The defense is out there trying to argue that the prosecution is unfairly targeting him, painting the prosecutors as if they're just eager to make a name for themselves with a big, splashy conviction. They're acting like he's the big catch they've been hoping for. The legal team is framing this as a personal vendetta, suggesting that those who are supposed to uphold justice are instead trying to grab the spotlight. Now his team is claiming that, unlike other big names who have faced legal trouble recently, his case doesn't involve minors. It's almost like they're saying, hey, we're not that bad. Their whole defense strategy seems focused on distancing him from the more notorious scandals. Sure, there are some questionable actions involved, but they're insisting it doesn't cross any criminal lines. The message is clear. Questionable lifestyle choices? Absolutely. Federal crimes? No way, they say. But here's the big question. Does him taking the stand actually help or hurt his case? Is he really going to change the narrative? Or is this just going to be the moment everything comes to light? And how much of his defense is really about proving he's different from past scandals, trying to avoid those comparisons to figures like R. Kelly and Epstein? Because honestly, things are looking a bit precarious right now. His defense is really trying to play up this idea that he's just misunderstood. But when your defense has to start with, hey, I'm not that guy, you know you're in trouble. It's kind of like when Usher was around, people were saying things like, "I'm not getting involved with those guys. I'm stepping away from that industry." Then there's the fact that Puff sent a young girl to the hospital. How do you even let that happen? She was bleeding badly. It's a total nightmare for the Hollywood elite. Nobody wants to be the one answering questions about their time on his yacht, and that's exactly what could be happening. And this isn't just affecting musicians. We're talking about actors, athletes, politicians. Everyone seems to have some kind of connection to him. No one wants their name dragged into this mess. Many of them are scrambling to distance themselves. Even his once glamorous white parties, which were the pinnacle of high society, have quickly turned into cautionary tales. Let's talk about Tony Busby again. He's made it clear that he's not just going after one person. He wants to bring anyone involved into the courtroom, too. He's already sending out demand letters to some very high-profile names, warning them that if they want to avoid this scandal, they'd better be prepared to pay up. According to him, some celebrities have already settled by paying hush money to make the issue go away. It's a real skeletons in the closet situation. Busby has hinted that if these celebrities don't cough up the cash, their dirty laundry will be aired for everyone to see. There's already buzz about photos from Diddy's parties being scrutinized, including one featuring Cuba Gooding Jr. Could these photos pull others into the trial? Definitely. Once those images start showing up as evidence, anything could happen. It's obvious that many people who were once eager to be associated with him are now trying to distance themselves as quickly as they can. Just recently, Mel's Drive-In, that classic Hollywood diner, quietly removed the photos of him from their walls. They want no part of this either. This situation is turning into one massive domino effect. You have A-listers quietly settling their issues, D-list players scrambling to avoid getting caught up, and everyone else in Hollywood on edge, just waiting to see how this will all play out in his upcoming trial. It's not just Diddy's career that's at stake. His entire network of glamorous, high-profile friendships is suddenly in jeopardy. If he gets desperate, there's no telling who he might throw under the bus next. The scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has escalated beyond one man's alleged misdeeds. It's expanding to reveal something much bigger and far uglier. We're talking about major hotels, banks, and corporations being pulled into this mess. And it gets even murkier. These companies may not have just been innocent bystanders. Some might have been complicit, helping behind the scenes or at least turning a blind eye while reaping the rewards. Let's dive into the heart of this entire situation. Diddy's notorious freak-offs. These weren't your average parties. Imagine luxury hotels packed with celebrities where the line between celebration and chaos got seriously blurred. Reports suggest that these wild, substance-fueled events pressured attendees into all sorts of illegal and disturbing activities. And who was at the center of it all? Diddy, of course. But here's the twist. He wasn't flying solo. It's now coming to light that major hotels allegedly knew exactly what was happening in their suites. Why? Because they were raking in big bucks while all this unfolded right under their noses. We're talking about upscale hotels where you'd expect the staff to be on high alert for anything out of the ordinary. How does a high-profile guest throw a private party filled with substances without anyone noticing? The reality is they probably did see it, but chose to look the other way. The sheer volume of cash pouring into these establishments, rooms booked, services rendered, made it all too easy to ignore the chaos. After all, why would you want to upset a client who's bringing in money and adding to your brand's celebrity allure? Even worse, some staff members might have been complicit, knowing they'd gain from staying quiet. Busby has highlighted a whole list of corporate players who seemed perfectly fine with letting this behavior slide. Some may have even taken steps to cover it up, ensuring the press and authorities stayed far away from these wild parties. Now, as lawsuits pile up, these hotel brands could face massive financial repercussions. It's not just about reputational damage. If the courts find they were involved in any wrongdoing, they could be looking at significant settlements. And what about the banks? You might be thinking, how do they fit into this mess? They're not exactly partying it up in those suites, right? That's true, but it all comes down to the money. Diddy's events were extravagant and costly. You don't throw multi-day bashes like that without a hefty budget, and he definitely wasn't footing the bill alone. There's speculation that financial institutions might have been involved in processing questionable transactions, possibly handling hush money, bribes, or funding the substances used at these parties. Banks are obligated to report suspicious activity, especially when large sums are being moved around in unusual ways. But if they were more focused on keeping a high-profile client satisfied, they might have ignored some serious red flags. Sure, it's all speculation until the details come out in court, but it's not a huge stretch to think that the same banks managing Diddy's business empire might have played a role in keeping things quiet. It's not just hotels and banks either. There are whispers about pharmaceutical companies getting involved. Some of the victims tested positive for bizarre substances like horse tranquilizers. These aren't exactly the kind of drugs you find at your local pharmacy. If these substances were supplied or used at Diddy's events, then pharmaceutical suppliers or distributors might be facing some tough questions. And it gets even darker. If big companies are somehow implicated in this scandal, they could be held liable too. As more brands announce they're cutting ties with the notorious CEO, earlier today, America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses stated they've halted all sales of his Shahjahan frames. Last week, several stores were instructed to remove those frames and update their displays. Corporate greed is a powerful motivator, especially when multimillionaire celebrities and major businesses are involved. It's easy to see how things could get swept under the rug in exchange for a steady flow of cash. But now, the chickens are coming home to roost. Busby's lawsuits are digging up some serious skeletons, and it seems like more than just Diddy will be caught up in this legal storm. These lawsuits aren't going away anytime soon. Busby has announced he's filing cases in multiple states, and this isn't just about what happened at Diddy's parties. The legal issues stretch back decades, from the 1990s all the way to just a few years ago. With each new case, more companies, like those hotels and banks, could find themselves in the spotlight. Now, the question isn't just whether they'll face financial losses in court, it's whether they can weather the hit to their reputations. Who wants to stay at a hotel infamous for hosting drug-fueled parties or trust a bank that turns a blind eye to questionable transactions? This is only the tip of the iceberg. The real story is yet to unfold in court. And if you think you've heard it all, just wait. The next few months could turn into one of the wildest Hollywood dramas ever, with Diddy poised to spill the tea while some big names scramble to avoid the fallout. The entertainment industry has a lot at stake. So, get ready, because things are about to get really wild. We're not talking about another celebrity feud or a fashion mishap. We're diving into a scandal that's got publicists working overtime. Dirty secrets are starting to leak, and the powerful figures involved are likely sweating it out. Let's be honest. When a celebrity finds themselves in trouble, fans will twist themselves into knots trying to defend them, no matter how absurd the evidence may be. But now, some groundbreaking information is surfacing about his ongoing legal issues, and it's not just your typical celebrity lawsuit. We're talking arrest warrants, hidden alliances, and all the juicy drama you'd expect from a Hollywood thriller. Lawyers are sharing some serious insider info, and it's not looking good for several well-known names. This is a high-stakes drama about who's going down with the ship and who's trying to bail out. What does this mean for him and his inner circle? Could this be the beginning of the end for the celebrity clique that's been pulling the strings for years? Lawyer Tony Busby, the relentless attorney from Texas, is on the warpath. He's representing over 120 people who have serious allegations against him. And here's the kicker. He claims that many of his so-called friends are trying to distance themselves by deleting posts and acting like they never knew him. According to Busby, some of these so-called friends are even handing out hush money to keep their names out of the mess. It's like a sinking ship, and everyone is scrambling for the lifeboats. Since his arrest, Lawsuits have been piling up, covering everything from misconduct to wild parties, along with secrets his A-list pals might have known about for years. Now, these friends are in a frantic race to erase any evidence of their connections, because who wants to get caught up in a scandal of this magnitude? Busby claims they have texts, photos, videos, everything. These folks are deleting evidence faster than you can say legal counsel, but it might be too late. The proof is already out there, and it's looking pretty scandalous. Busby isn't holding back when he says there's a whole crowd of people out there sweating bullets because they got caught up in this situation. He's just scratching the surface, and this is only the beginning. The big question now is how many high-profile names will tumble once all the details come out. It's like watching a game of Jenga. Every move could bring the whole tower crashing down. Of course, he's keeping things close to the vest. His lawyer, Erica Wolf, insists they won't dignify these so-called baseless claims with a response. Her strategy? Just dismiss everything as a media circus. Sure, because when your client's life resembles a soap opera, the real issue must be the audience, right? Meanwhile, Busby's hotline for victims is blowing up. Over 12,000 calls in just 24 hours. That's not just a trickle, it's a full-on tsunami. The sheer number of people reaching out suggests there's a lot more to this story than just a few baseless claims. Busby is already out there settling cases, trying to give these victims some form of justice while building a bigger case against him. But the most surprising part? The celebrity names that are popping up in all this drama. Prince Harry's name has somehow been linked to the scandal, even though there's no indication that he did anything wrong. It seems like he just got swept up in the chaos, and let's be honest, that's the last thing he needs right now. Then there's Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group. He's being accused of knowing what was going on and just looking the other way. Classic move, right? It's like pretending you don't see the storm until you're already soaked. And just when you think it can't get any stranger, Cuba Gooding Jr. gets thrown into the mix. He's been named as a defendant for some questionable behavior on a yacht. Cuba himself has called the situation ridiculous, which is pretty ironic coming from someone who's no stranger to his own Hollywood scandals. And then there's young Miami. She was dating Diddy at the time, but she insists she knows nothing about any of this. "I wasn't around at the time," she says. It sounds pretty convenient, doesn't it? Just what you'd expect someone to say when they want to distance themselves from the chaos left by an ex. This scandal isn't just threatening careers. It's casting a dark cloud over anyone who was even slightly connected. If these allegations hold up, we're looking at some serious jail time, potentially a career-ending sentence. And let's not forget the fallout for everyone else caught up in this mess. You have to wonder how many more names will surface before it's all said and done. And let's not overlook how Lucian Grange's legal team is responding to these accusations. They're calling them outrageous and knowingly false. They're not just trying to get these claims dismissed, they're going on the offensive, even threatening to go after the lawyer who filed them. That's how it works in the world of the rich and powerful. It's not just about denying the allegations, it's about destroying the opposition. But things aren't looking good. The arrest has ignited more than just a legal fight. It's turned into a full-blown battle for public opinion. Former New York City prosecutor Paul Callan believes the accused is in serious trouble. If convicted, they could face the possibility of spending the rest of their life in prison. While Callan doesn't think a life sentence is very likely, even a sentence of 10 to 20 years would be enough to shatter their larger-than-life image. To make matters worse, bail has been denied, which is quite unusual for someone of this stature. The prosecutors managed to convince the judge that this person poses a flight risk, or, even worse, that they might intimidate witnesses if released. This isn't just a legal issue anymore. It raises serious questions about whether recovery is possible, both legally and in the court of public opinion. This whole situation goes beyond just one person. It highlights the powerful figures surrounding them and the system that allows celebrities to operate in their own bubble until everything comes crashing down. As this case moves toward trial, one thing is certain: The fallout will be severe. It will impact careers, tarnish reputations, and change the lives of everyone involved in the aftermath. Who's going to come out unscathed, and who's going to be left in the wreckage? The internet is buzzing with rumors, and people are devouring them like they're the latest episode of a reality show. But here's the catch. These conspiracy theories are gaining traction, with many treating them as if they're the gospel truth, especially those who love a good scandal. So let's dive into some of the wildest theories out there that might actually hold some weight. First up is the body double theory. According to this bizarre speculation, the accused didn't really get arrested. Instead, they sent in a look-alike to take the heat. Honestly, there's something almost cinematic about the idea that one of the wealthiest and most well-connected figures in entertainment would orchestrate their own mini-escape. You can almost picture them lounging in a luxury hotel suite while their double gets arrested. The theory suggests this person has such extensive resources that they could pull a Houdini and vanish while sending a stand-in to fool the cops. It sounds ridiculous, right? Yet people are all over it. Think about it. This isn't just about whether they were arrested. It's about creating a larger-than-life story. The notion that someone could outsmart the entire justice system with a stunt like this feeds into the fantasy that celebrities are somehow above the law. And let's be honest, many people want to believe this because it's far more exciting than the mundane reality of someone simply getting caught. Next on the list is the Epstein connection. Yes, you read that correctly. Some people are linking this scandal to the notorious Jeffrey Epstein, and it's not just a case of they ran into each other at a party. We're talking about allegations that the accused might have been involved in some of Epstein's more nefarious activities. Rumors are swirling that they were part of an elite circle that attended secret, lavish parties where all kinds of illegal activities took place. Some say they were a regular at Epstein's Miami mansion, where these infamous gatherings occurred. Now, whether or not they ever actually set foot in that mansion is debatable. But here's where it gets complicated. Joe Rogan and MMA fighter Israel Adesanya have weighed in, hinting that this person was tied to a much darker side of the entertainment industry. Adesanya even expressed relief for having avoided an invite to one of their parties, suggesting it was like some secret initiation into the elite. Rogan, who's known for stirring the conspiracy pot, pointed out that the lack of coverage in mainstream media likely indicates a cover-up. The most intriguing part? There's speculation that, unlike Epstein, this individual might crack under pressure and start naming their wealthy and powerful associates. This feeds into the public's desire for a high-profile downfall. People don't just want to see this person fall. They want to witness the collapse of an entire empire. There's been a lot of buzz about Kim Porter, their late ex-partner, and some journal entries that allegedly cast them in a negative light. According to the theory, a recently released book titled Kim's Lost Words contains these entries, revealing a host of dark secrets. Some people even think these entries were what sparked the arrest in the first place. It's almost like a plot straight out of a detective novel. A mysterious book hitting the shelves right before their legal troubles began, as if the universe was conspiring for their downfall. Of course, Diddy's team has dismissed this as complete nonsense. But conspiracy theorists are all over the idea that there's a secret diary with all the juicy details. And let's be real. In today's world, sensational stories often overshadow the facts. As a result, this book is flying off the shelves, fueling the notion that Diddy's public persona has been nothing but a carefully constructed facade all along. Some people believe that Diddy's arrest is somehow connected to the real reason Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck broke up. Apparently, there are tapes that were seized during an FBI raid on Diddy's mansion, and these tapes supposedly feature Lopez. In this version of events, those tapes were so explosive that they contributed to her and Affleck's split. What's fascinating about this theory is how perfectly it feeds into the public's obsession with high-profile romantic drama. Affleck and Lopez have always been a tabloid favorite, and this rumor offers exactly what fans want: a juicy Hollywood love triangle filled with scandal. Naturally, J-Lo's team has dismissed this as complete nonsense. But that hasn't stopped the rumor mill from spinning out new versions of the story. As if that weren't enough, Usher has somehow found himself caught up in this whole mess. Following Diddy's arrest, Usher wiped his entire social media history clean, which has raised some eyebrows. While some might see that as just a coincidence, conspiracy theorists view it as a major red flag. The prevailing theory is that Usher was trying to distance himself from Diddy before things got too intense. People are speculating that he might have sensed trouble brewing and decided to scrub his digital footprint. After all, if you have nothing to hide, why delete your entire history, right? Usher later claimed that his account was hacked, but once the conspiracy theories start rolling, it's hard to stop them. For many, the timing was just too coincidental to believe anything but the worst. Now let's dive into the topic of Justin Bieber, or rather a song that sounds a lot like him. An AI-generated track made its way back online shortly after Diddy's arrest, and its lyrics seem to hint at a wild party at Diddy's house. The song features what sounds like Bieber's voice singing about losing himself at a party thrown by, you guessed it, Diddy. While it's been confirmed that the song is fake, created by artificial intelligence, that hasn't stopped people from speculating about hidden truths in the lyrics. The fact that it surfaced right after Diddy's arrest only added fuel to the fire. Many are convinced that, whether real or not, the song holds clues or warnings about the shady activities happening at Diddy's parties. Next, we'll delve into the complexities surrounding Diddy's case and how it's affecting his life and career. The future of the charges against Sean Diddy Combs is shaping up to be a complicated legal battle that's grabbing a lot of attention. The trial is set to kick off on May 5, 2025, a date confirmed in a recent hearing by Judge Arun Subramanian. During this hearing, it was established that the prosecution, led by attorney Emily Johnson, anticipates that their case will take at least 3 weeks to present. In contrast, Diddy's defense team, headed by Mark Agnello, believes they can make their arguments in about a week. This timeline indicates a lengthy trial that will thoroughly scrutinize the numerous allegations against Diddy. During the recent hearing, Diddy's lawyers raised several key requests and arguments. They asked for the identities of Diddy's accusers, emphasizing that knowing who these individuals are is crucial for mounting a strong defense. Additionally, they filed a motion for an evidentiary hearing to look into claims of government misconduct. The defense argues that the prosecution has leaked information to the media which could influence public opinion against Diddy. They also requested a gag order to prevent any further leaks. The defense maintains that these leaks are part of a broader effort to undermine Diddy's right to a fair trial. Judge Subramanian addressed these concerns during the hearing, acknowledging the defense's arguments while emphasizing the importance of upholding the integrity of the judicial process. He agreed to consider the motion for an evidentiary hearing, but held off on granting the gag order for the time being. The judge underscored the need for both sides to follow the rules of evidence and maintain confidentiality to ensure a fair trial. His balanced approach indicates that he is thoughtfully weighing both the defense's and the prosecution's positions. The potential outcomes of this case could have serious implications for Diddy and other celebrities involved. If Diddy is found guilty of the charges against him, he could face a minimum sentence of 15 years in prison, with the possibility of life behind bars. Such a verdict would not only end his career, but would also have a profound impact on his personal life and business interests. Given the extensive media coverage and public interest surrounding this case, a guilty verdict would likely lead to significant reputational damage, making it difficult for Diddy to recover professionally. The implications for other celebrities linked to Diddy are just as significant. Their involvement, whether direct or indirect, could expose them to legal repercussions and damage their reputations. The case has already sparked heightened scrutiny of their actions and relationships with Diddy. Legal experts note that civil lawsuits filed against him could introduce new evidence and witnesses that might strengthen the criminal case. This connection between civil and criminal proceedings suggests that the outcomes of one could greatly impact the other. As we dive deeper, we'll explore the origins of these viral conspiracies, particularly the body double claim, and examine the online frenzy that keeps them going. What makes people so eager to believe that Diddy used a body double to escape justice? And how did this narrative gain such traction? Could the internet's fascination with celebrities be driving the spread of misinformation about Diddy's situation? Let's get into the wildest theories surrounding Diddy's recent arrest, starting with the body double. The story took off shortly after news of Diddy's arrest broke. Some social media users, keen-eyed conspiracy theorists, claimed that Diddy wasn't actually there when he was taken into custody, suggesting he had already fled before the authorities arrived. They pointed to blurry videos and images shared online, arguing that the person seen being arrested was actually a paid look-alike. One viral video posted by TikTok user at Daniel M. Mitchell 64 claimed to have evidence of this switch. The video featured side-by-side comparisons of Diddy and the person being arrested, quickly racking up thousands of views and further fueling speculation. Another TikToker even took it a step further, suggesting that Diddy had connections that helped him dodge justice, similar to other high-profile celebrities. These TikTok clips were quickly shared on X, sparking a wave of discussions and retweets. But what's behind these claims? Most of it seems to stem from perceived differences in appearance between Diddy and the man in the arrest footage. Commenters zoomed in on photos, highlighting supposed differences in hairline and facial structure to argue that it wasn't Diddy who was apprehended. However, these claims crumble under scrutiny. Numerous news outlets have confirmed that the man in the arrest video is indeed Diddy. Law enforcement has also verified that Diddy was present during his arrest, and no credible reports suggest otherwise. While the body double theory is certainly intriguing, it lacks any solid evidence beyond speculation on the internet. At the end of the day, while these theories are entertaining, they're just that: conspiracies without any factual basis. Diddy didn't flee the country, and nobody double took his place during the arrest. The man in the arrest footage is indeed Diddy, and authorities have not supported any of these outrageous claims. As the legal battle unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher for Diddy and the other celebrities implicated in this case. Will this trial expose the darker side of Hollywood, or is Diddy simply being unfairly targeted amid a swirl of rumors and conspiracy theories? We want to hear what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this unfolding story and more hot topics, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for fresh content.